Hey ladies, um, before I get started with the actual message, I just want to say I'm sorry for my greasy hair, and you may be wondering why is a freaking, 14-year-old, why are 14-year-olds dressing up in crop tops and stuff? And I'm like, I am not 14, you're welcome. I'm younger than 14, but I won't give any more information than that. I just said 14 because people usually guess that I'm 14, but anyways, what I wanted to talk about is curvy girls and girls in general, and, sexual abuse and rape. And I know that may be hard to talk about with some people, but it has happened to me. I have been sexually abused, but I just want to say that no matter who it is, you should defend yourself, whether it's your brother, your cousin, your father, your uncle, just a stranger. No matter who it is, you defend yourself. You don't just say, you should say no, but if they don't respond to no, you yell at them, you tell them stop it, you hit them, you get physical, you stop whatever is happening then and there. And I'm sorry if this has happened to you and you didn't do those things, because I didn't do those things and only bad came out of it. But for me, only bad came out of it. But you shouldn't be thinking about the other person. In any circumstance, you should not be thinking about the other person, because it's really bad if you start thinking about the other person, because the other person is the bad person in this scenario. In any abuse, crime, anything, the bad person is not the person that you should be thinking about. You shouldn't be thinking about their feelings. I'm a very empathetic person, and it was very hard for me to tell my cousin no. Or my abuser. So whoever it is, you say no. If they don't stop, you say please stop, and then you just say whatever you can to try to get them to stop, and if it goes too far, whatever your limit is, you say stop now. You yell at them. You yell as loud as you can so your neighbors can hear you. Your whole neighborhood can hear you. Anybody around can hear you. And you get physical. You try to punch them. You try to kick them anywhere. You try really hard. And this, I'm sorry for saying ladies before, because this doesn't just happen to women. It happens to men too. So with my outfit, it's a little more showy than I would usually wear, but that's because my point is women should be able to wear anything. They should be able to do anything with their bodies and not get stared at or abused. And this is a real problem. This is a really bad problem that nobody can wrap their heads around. Why would you go and rape someone? Get in a real relationship, build a connection with someone, and, it shouldn't have to be, nobody loves me, so I'll just rape someone. That's ridiculous. And I understand that's not the only reason why people do it. It's probably one of the main reasons, but it should never be happening, and we shouldn't have to wrap our heads around what is going on with it. Now, whatever goes on inside their heads is ridiculous, because who thinks it's okay to hurt someone, whether you love them or you don't, or they're a stranger, and my camera's moving? It's not okay. No matter who it is, it's not okay, and I will be making a separate video just to abusers and title it "Women Are Stupid" or something like that, just so people click on it and abusers will click on it as well, because then they'll be like, oh yes, finally someone understands. And it really sucks that a 12-year-old, a child, is getting raped or abused. Any child, because there are such young children out there that are raped or sexually abused. And it's bad for anyone, for it to happen to anyone, but for a young child to be abused, it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking if it happens to someone that you love, and it's really hard for me to talk about it. It should be hard for anyone to talk about it, whether they've been through it or not, whether they know someone who's been through it or not, because it's a real problem, and it shouldn't be put out there like it's a joke, like it's just something that doesn't happen, just something that isn't important. But it shouldn't have to be seen as anything. It shouldn't have to be real. And I understand that it is, but it really shouldn't be. A lot of problems shouldn't be actual problems, and they're just ridiculous. And they really make me sick. Like, a religious parent, I'm not saying for every religious parent, but a religious parent would rather put their child with a pedophile than a LGBTQ person, than a homosexual person. And it's really sad, because LGBTQ people are perfectly good people, they're perfectly normal people, but nobody sees them as normal, ever. I've never, maybe, like, if they're in the community, or if they appreciate the community, but you either appreciate the community or you don't. You're not iffy about it. And if you're just a little homophobic, then you're out of the community. You're done for. You are a problem. And this goes for rape and sexism and sexual abusing. If you throw it around as a joke, you gain no respect anymore. You gain barely any respect anymore, because it is not a joke. It is a real problem, and I don't know how many times I have to say that to people. And I don't know when this is going to become a popular video, but I really hope that there are at least a few videos out there that people really listen to. But I feel like the real problem is that it's coming from the same people. And I'm not just saying this because my mom told me to, or because my parents told me to, or somebody handed me some script and said, go over this, we're gonna make a video about you saying it because you're a 12-year-old girl, and you're gonna be best for it because people will realize, oh, you're a little girl, and people will realize this is a real problem. And I am a child, and I know what's going on, but I shouldn't have to know that it's going on, and nobody should have to know that it's going on. But we do, because it's happening. Anybody, right now, somebody that you don't know, somebody that you do know, any of them could be getting abused or raped right now, and you wouldn't even know it. But if you do get raped or abused, why does my camera keep on moving? If you do keep on getting raped or abused, if it happened once, you tell somebody. You don't just blow it off. It happened to you. It is a problem, and people keep on throwing it away as if it's not a problem. But if it happened to you, if it happened to anyone and they told you, you tell somebody, because it is a real problem. You can't just refuse to tell somebody, no matter how long it's been. You tell somebody because it's not just a joke. It's a real thing. It is a real problem. Just like so many other things, and I will go over those other things, but just another time. And it's really upsetting. And it just kills me to say that those are real things, to know that those are real things, just to understand those real things. Because it is really just sad and ridiculous. And so many people are thinking this right now, but nobody's saying anything about it. How many people have you had a real conversation with about rape and abuse? For some people, it may be more, but everybody should be learning about it and realizing that it's not okay. When you're in 5th grade or whenever you go over the video, boys should be watching something that it's not okay to do this in some sort of video during that amount of time that school gives you to go over the video. Girls should learn how to defend themselves in school when they go over the video. Or just any video. They don't even have to separate boys and girls. Because, really, it is infuriating to know that boys didn't learn that it's not okay to do this. Because it is not okay. Not at all. And I don't care if some kid says, oh, my mom told me. Teachers should be making sure. Schools should be making sure. It is not a joke, and it is not some little game. It is a real thing that happens, and it needs to be dealt with in ways that are pretty permanent. And not just in little ways. Maybe one step at a time, but not a little way forever. Or for years. Little steps at a time can really help, like people making videos like this. Because it is a real problem. And I keep on saying that, and that's because it is true. And it needs to be dealt with. I don't care how many people say it's not that big of a deal, because it is a big of a deal. Why do people keep on saying, oh, why don't you just tell them no? People do tell them no. Why do people keep on saying that they were abused, and so I'm gonna say, oh, why don't you try to defend yourself? Everybody tries to defend themselves in that situation. Why would you think that I didn't try to defend myself? Some people don't try to defend themselves because they're afraid of what's happening in this situation, and they're unsure of what's happening in this situation. So they don't know what to do because nobody tells them, here is what you do. Nobody tells them. It is not okay for this to be happening, but everybody needs to know that it's happening. Whether it is from this video or some other video, it needs to be known. And it needs to be dealt with. Not just this, but so many other problems, but like I said, we're taking this little steps at a time. And these separate problems will be taken little steps at a time. I was yelling throughout the majority of that video, but if you're talking while that happens, it gets infuriating. And I've never said it out loud, but that was just great to say. Not just because so many people could see this and realize if this little kid is talking about it, then it needs to be dealt with. But I need to stop saying stuff because the video is almost over. But I love you guys, and stay safe. Bye.